We are here. Not quite as good as last week. I'm a minute or two late. But welcome to the live stream of No Driving Gloves. Hopefully you're joining us here on Facebook or YouTube. Feel free to comment and give you some input on the show. We're covering movies where the car is a star. Movies that would be forgotten if it wasn't for the car carrying the movie. So start throwing up your comments, start throwing up your movies. I had a couple emailed to me. Derek and I have some lists where we're going to discuss some of these movies. We'll touch on some news. Well, we're going to start with the topic. I kind of just told Derek we're going to kind of swing the show that way, but we're going to quickly catch up with Derek because he's had some exciting car news this week. Maybe. And then we're going to jump into our topic and we'll hit some news about halfway through the show or something. There's some really interesting stuff that's popped up in the news. So how's your car life, Derek?
You know, John, it seems like it just keeps getting better. I don't know if I'm just in a really lucky moment of life with automobiles, but, the other night I got to spend quite a few hours out in the shop working on the Duryea buggy yacht that everyone has heard about on the show that I went and picked up over Memorial Day weekend. And in doing that, was able to organize everything or at least most everything out of the tubs. Got the body set up on sawhorses, so it kind of looks like the car. And doing all this, everybody will hear about it as it comes out, but I'm doing some work with writing some articles with Hemmings Motor News. So we're going to be some articles in Hemmings coming up. But then today, this won't make the first article because the deadline is already here. But I stumbled across some very interesting information about the buggy yacht, and that is that I'm piecing together the history as we've talked about all of my cars. I try to hunt the history down. And I stumbled across pictures today from 1965, 66, and it was published in a book that was about 100 of the greatest cars in Bill Harrah's collection. So it turns out that the buggy yacht in the 1960s and sometime prior to that was owned by Bill Harrah. So
Hey.
kind of shocking.
Yeah, what year is yours? 03, 09?
I say circa 1910. It was sold to me as a 1910, but I of course haven't found any of the casting numbers, things like that, and I don't even know if Duryea recorded all of those. So we're just going to call it a 1910 right now until we can definitively figure out a year.
Yeah, because it looks like I was just clicking. There's a 03 Stevens Duryea Model L in Harrah's collection, and then there's some stuff on the AACA or National Automotive AACA site talking about some of the Duryeas that were in his collection, and then there's a 1911 Stevens Duryea AA touring car. So I don't know.
Yep, yeah, I've got more research to do. Let's put it that way, and it's one of the fun things about the old cars, in my opinion. It's just, to me, it's not just about preserving them or restoring them or whatever avenue you're going to take, but it's also learning the history of them, because that's the only way to truly know what the car is that you have. So
what is number 26, Eric? I'm a little lost on that. Is that a movie that I don't know that involves a car, or?
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those very confusing messages that get put up sometimes. So anything exciting in the car world for you, John?
No. Kind of made a statement that it's time to put up or shut up about my CRX. Made it publicly, making it on the podcast. Started looking. Damn, they're hard to find. Unless you want to spend 30 grand. And I just can't believe a CRX is worth 30 grand today. But tried that, and then of course with the what I can't think of the acronym, but that dealership hack that's not solved yet. You really can't buy a car. I had a friend talking to me about a car. He's looking to trade a vehicle he owns, and he had contacted a dealership, and he goes, "They haven't gotten back to me, and it's been 2 or 3 days." I said, "You ever consider this hack? They might not even know you contacted them because their entire computer systems are down." That's about my extent of my car stuff, is giving some advice out there, doing a little studio work, but nothing really exciting. But well, if you know of CRX that's in not modified, fairly original condition, no rust, let me know. And I don't know if I'm ready to write a check, but I'm ready to start coming up with the number that I'm willing to pay for one. So there's my car stuff.
The hunt is on.
Yes. And it's TV show, but we all know that there was CRX in the opening scenes of Seinfeld. And when they're lost in the parking garage, they pass the same Geo Metro convertible a couple times. There's also a CRX in there, so on and so on.
And hang on. So your CRX has, well, not specifically yours, but CRX has been in at least TV show. I'm sure they've shown up in some movies. But a Duryea buggy yacht, just because we had to talk about the buggy yacht a little bit, actually appeared in the movie. I believe it was 1927 movie called The First Auto, with none other than the lead actor being Barney Oldfield, the famed race car driver. So we're already talking about movie cars and TV show cars, John.
Well, we're talking about TV show cars, and I kind of wanted to keep TV show cars out of this, even though I'm the one who interjected it in there completely.
I was going to say, okay, well, then I'm talking about a movie car because the buggy yacht showed up in a movie in 1927.
Wow. There was a movie, Special 26, but I'm not sure. So let's jump right in. Like I said, these are movies that we really wouldn't know if it wasn't for the car. The car's kind of what made the movie, maybe what attracted us to go see it, what's kept the movie at least popular in the streaming services. But I'm just going to let you, do you want to start, Derek, or do you want me to start, or do we want to just quickly, do we want to cherry pick the easy ones?
We can cherry pick, in my opinion, one of the easiest ones, because I had my notes laying out from last week when, in the post show and pre-show and post show, when we were talking about the next episode tonight being about movie cars. I had my notes laying out on the desk, and my lovely wife passed by and saw them, and she immediately wrote down a note on there. And of course, John, you know my wife's name, so immediately on my list is the movie Christine. So I'm sure everyone remembers the movie Christine, and obviously developed off of the book Christine. But so that's top of the list tonight because my lovely wife's name is Christine.
So that would be 1983 Stephen King. Is that a 58 or a 59 Plymouth Fury, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that one crossed my mind, and obviously I've got some notes about it because I'm not a movie buff to that extent to know the year. And I can't tell you a damn thing that happened in the movie, but I can tell you it's a red car, and I remember a scene where it like grows a face and eats something. So, yep, I think Christine is a really is one that really jumps out at you.
And don't worry, Jason, especially, who just commented, my wife's personality is the polar opposite of the cars in that movie. Okay. So the polar opposite ends of the spectrum.
Until you make her mad.
She can take it up with you, John.
So
So what's
what do we
top
got?
of your list, John? What did you put at the top of your list for movies that star cars?
I really didn't put anything at the top of the list, but
There has
there's
to
a
be a top of
couple
the
that,
list, or do you make your
well,
list like
they're
car?
randomly written down as I thought of them, and the one that comes to my mind that nobody would ever watch, or we only watched because of the car in the beginning, 1986, Charlie Sheen, The Wraith, with the
Oh, that's got the
P-
it's a Chrysler concept car, right?
Yep, it's a PPG Indy prototype in it, 4-cylinder turbo. I actually saw the car in person in at a seminar, I think at Indianapolis once. But would we know that movie otherwise? I mean,
No,
that's one of
no.
those that really pop out in my mind.
That's a good one. I had not thought of that.
Ooh, Toby's popping up a couple in here.
Yeah, we got some good comments coming up.
Yeah, he's saying Gung Ho, Aston Motors, and Duel, the evil Peterbilt. I remember Duel now
Yeah,
with
that was
the
a good one.
evil Peterbilt. That's
I
all I
cannot
remember
remember.
about it.
Yeah, I can't remember the car the guy was driving that he was being chased by the Peterbilt in, though.
Jason popped up the Italian Job, and that one was on my list. The original Italian Job was known for the minis, and of course, when Marky Mark remade the movie a few years back, had to have the minis in it again.
You know, I wonder if in like on set, did they call the minis that were there the Funky Bunch?
They might have.
I mean, just behind the
Do,
scenes, not in the movie.
do you want to know an interesting bit of trivia from that newer Marky Mark remake of the Italian Job in those minis?
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were an original member of the Funky Bunch and you got cut.
No. I didn't pay too close of attention. Because remember, he liked to hop around in his underwear a lot. Really didn't need to see that. Now he serves us burgers. But those were the original electric minis. All those minis in that movie in the tunnel scene were electrified. So EVs for the win there.
Going green in the movies.
Toby came in and said the Dual car was like a red 70 Plymouth Valiant.
That
Jason popped it.
Right.
Give me a year, Jason. Give me a year.
Yeah, because one of those is on my list, but not the other. And I'm sure everyone can figure out which is which.
Yeah, because one of those is known for a car and one of those is known for a person.
Bad actor. I mean, hey, how's it going? 1974. Yeah, now he's got it.
Yeah, and Jason's picking off our list. We better get moving here, Derek, or Jason's going to name them all.
Yeah, so Jason's got my one of the many on my list. I'll stop saying top bottom of my list, whatever. But the original Gone in 60 Seconds is the movie that
we don't talk about tops and bottoms on this show.
Yeah. But yeah, the original, I just call it the original Gone in 60 Seconds. Sometimes I call it the only Gone in 60 Seconds. H.B. Halicki's version, which was fantastic. Of course, known for Eleanor, the true Eleanor, not that piece of junk that was in the modern movie. I know we're going to get some haters for that, but I don't care. And the cool thing about that movie, John, I encourage people to go back and watch it. If you've already watched it, watch it again. If you haven't, definitely go watch it. But find somewhere that tells you kind of the behind the scenes notes about the movie, because there are some very interesting facts about that movie and what HB Halicki was doing, and also the stunt driving in it. He did all of the stunt driving in Eleanor himself because it was so low budget. And there are actually scenes in the movie where there are unintended wrecks in Eleanor that were not supposed to be in the movie, but they happened and they kept them in because they didn't have the budget to go cut the film and redo the scene. So it's extremely interesting to learn the behind the scenes facts about that movie.
Yeah, Halicki messed up his back doing the one jump in there, and it kind of crippled him for life. But
Hmm.
you do what you do, Jason. That's a TV show. We're not counting the Luke Wilson thing. And Toby said the 49 Hudson Commodore and Driving Miss Daisy. Yeah, it's a cool car, but Driving Miss Daisy's not known for the car. But we can go 1949 here. Cobra. Sylvester Stallone. Remember, he had that black 49 chop top Mercury.
That one's not ringing a bell.
No,
I might not have ever seen that movie.
Yeah, that movie with Steve McQueen and the Mustang, Jason. It's on the list because it's got to be. What about the what I call kind of the sister movie to that? Do you know what we're talking about there, Derek?
No, I don't.
Vanishing Point.
Oh, Vanishing Point. Yeah. Yep.
See, to me, Vanishing Point kind of fits right in there. I don't know anything about Vanishing Point. I've watched it a couple of times. I don't know anything about it other than the white Challenger in there and the train wreck. And it's just like the Bullet. Oh, it's known for the chase scene, blah, 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 the green Mustang. What else happened in the movie, Bullet?
At one point, the one car like careens into a gas station and explodes, doesn't it? If I remember right, isn't there a scene where like car goes off in a gas station?
Yeah.
And the only thing I remember in Vanishing Point is the end, where it just drives off into nothing, and it just ends.
That's exactly it. It's just you remember it for the car.
Well, we're on Bullet and Vanishing Point. One of the interesting things I find when I get in conversations about movies with cars, whether it's cars that star movies or just cars in movie scenes, and those two movies come up. I mean, it's like you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. I had to throw that in because of what's going on tonight. But people either are a Bullet movie person or they're a Vanishing Point person. Have you ever come across that?
No, not really? Once.
I've met so many people that it's like, oh no, Vanishing Point, the Vanishing Point, and then there's other people like, no, Bullet's the best, and I'm like, really? Like those two movies we're gonna fight over? Because there's a lot of other movies out there that might bump up above them. I mean, Bullet, probably one of the best chase scenes, but there's also, really Bullet chase scene, or come on, Blues Brothers chase scene. That is the best chase scene.
I'm going to throw one out here. If you watch VinWiki on YouTube, they interview the guy that he ended up buying a police car, full-fledged police car. He's the DJ out of Indianapolis. Can't think of his name. And he actually recreated that Blues Brothers chase scene. Nice. And I think the Blues Brother would get an honorable mention. I don't think we would remember the Blues Brothers that much without the police car. But with, I think, Belushi passing away in that, I think that elevated the movie. So a lot of people watched it, and it's known for a little bit more. But the car was a central point in that.
I thought it was only known for the Carrie Fisher scenes.
Well, I'm going to say Toby's said number one on the list. It's tied with another one, in my opinion. I guess if I'm going to go in number one, Herbie the Love Bug. You can pick any of them, but Herbie the Love Bug from 1968. That is the star. The movie's written around the car. And I can think of very few other movies that way other than the movie Cars.
Ooh. Can I give my number one? Because in my opinion, my number one's better.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Because it truly is about the car and nothing else.
We're not going to talk about a documentary on the Model T.
You can prove it by looking at the actual script of the movie. 2-lane blacktop. There are less lines in that movie than any movie in history outside of silent movies, because it is all about the car and the noises that the car makes. That is what that car was made for. It was about drag racing and the sound of the car.
The odd thing on that is I have never watched 2-lane blacktop other than like the opening credits.
You, sir, have missed one of the greatest automotive movies there are.
See, and Toby and Jason now both of us said the same movie. And while it was a key part of the movie, I do not think the Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit, nor the Semi, nor the Bonneville were the stars. That was definitely the story and the drive and the love scene and getting Coors beer west or east of the Rockies. I can't put Smokey and the Bandit. It's known for the Trans Am, but I think Burt Reynolds carried his own weight next to, and Jackie Gleason definitely carried his own weight against the Trans Am. And that's all I'm going to say about that to you, some bitches.
I was going to try to work it in there, but you beat me to it. Dang.
Toby's disagreeing. It's the cars. Now, if you're going to say that, sorry, Derek, the Cannonball Run. Another Burt Reynolds.
Okay. I'm okay with Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run was all about the stars. I mean, yes, it was about the cannonball, but the list of stars in that movie, I mean, I can name as many stars in that movie as I can cars. And, with like the exception of Bullitt, most of these movies, I can't name the star.
Jason has brought up a movie that I was hoping would not come up on any of the lists, but I will give him Jason brought up Back to the Future. Of course, we all know that the DeLorean is in that. People also tend to remember the famed Toyota truck that is in the movie. But Jason, I have to disagree with you. The only one I will permit on the list is Back to the Future, the original. 2, 3, 4, whatever, however many they made after that. No, nope. But the first one we will allow.
Yeah, I'll give it, because technically I think that movie saved the DeLorean as a collectible automobile too. Otherwise it'd be kind of, if it wasn't for Back to the Future, I think the DeLorean might be considered a lot like the Tucker, is kind of an anomaly in history. Yes, they made more of them. The Tucker's a fabulous collectible car too, but without the movie, the DeLorean, I don't think would be sought after by as many people, except maybe Elon Musk and his fetish for stainless steel, which I'm going to slide into a little bit of news there. Did you see the footage of a Camry getting hit by a Cybertruck this week?
Ooh, no, I haven't. Sounds
Camry
to watch.
Camry lost. The Cybertruck has a scratched bumper, no crumpling whatsoever, and hit it at speed. The Camry, it was a late 90s, early 2000s Camry, turned in front of the Cybertruck, and the Cybertruck, it was like a bug on the windshield. Speaking of which, they've now recalled all 12,000 Cybertrucks because of the windshield wipers. Yeah, so see, I slipped some news in there too. Got to listen to the show. I got more news that I'm going to drop later.
Dropping bombs. Nice.
Jeez, you keep talking about things off topic. Elections, top bottoms, and dropping bombs.
Yeah, well,
Now
you know,
we
somebody's
blew
got
we,
to in
we
there.
blew right over the Cars. Do we think the movie, even though it was animated, Cars, was the Cars the star? I
I
mean,
don't I
the whole
I
cast was
don't think
Cars.
so. But I don't think so. I think that again,
It
kind
was
of like Cannonball. I mean, it was all big name actors pretty much doing that. Doing the voices, and so I
but
think it revolves
I
more
don't
around the
I,
actors.
I don't watch Toy Story.
Well, that's
I
no
don't
problem.
watch
Toy
a
Story is
lot
a
of those.
great movie.
Yes, but you've got big actors in that too. The only reason I watched Cars was because of the cars. And then I fell in love with the movie because not only was it a movie about cars, it was about a famed road that related to cars. There's not a thing about cars that's not related to cars.
True, and it's got great automotive history in it with Doc Hudson, right? And so, I mean, yeah, well, yeah, because some of the cars are real cars. I guess one of my uh, dr- uh, issues with that movie is that, you know, Lightning McQueen himself is not a defined car. So the star is not like you can't sit there and tell me what make and model Lightning McQueen is.
Well, he's probably a Chevrolet Monte Carlo being a NASCAR, but we know his girlfriend definitely was a Porsche because
Right,
Porsche
but that's
even
what I'm
made a
talking. The
replica.
actual star of the movie, Lightning McQueen, was not given an actual make and model. It's more of a generic sports car than a defined one like all the other cars. The Porsche, the Stanley Steamer, the Model T, the Doc Hudson, the Impala, all the Fiat 500, all those they were defined, but the star of the movie was not actually defined as a true make and model of car.
Well, if you take that, you're going to throw out Back to the Future then. They did say DeLorean, but it's really not. Toby kind of argues that because it was a movie car conversion or inversion. And I guess if you're going to use that, do we bring in Flubber?
Flubber was a great movie. I liked it. With the original or the new Eddie Murphy
No,
one?
the original.
Yeah, yeah. Although I don't remember what car he used in the original. I don't even remember what the car was in the Eddie Murphy one. So,
Well, it was some sort of brass era thing with Dick Van Dyke,
yeah.
but that's about all I can tell you. Oh, I threw out a whole bunch there at once, Derek. So hopefully I didn't destroy your list. What else you got?
No, but well, let's keep on the because I wrote a few down that are kind of ambiguous. Let's call it kind of like cars. If we go back and forth on, whether or not that one really is true. But what if, in that vein, there is a car that most people remember in this movie. However, it is not a real car, kind of like Lightning McQueen. What if I threw out, and I will add that this movie is historically referencing a major part of automotive history. What if I threw out Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Do you remember the car that was in that?
Nope, not at all. All I remember is Jessica Rabbit.
His animated taxi cab car that would come get
Jessica
him
Rabbit.
wherever he was. Well, yeah, Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit.
But the
No,
movie,
Jessica.
much like you are saying with Cars, Cars was about Route 66 and the bypassing of the original American highway and all of that. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is all about the destruction of ethnic neighborhoods for the building of the interstate highway system. That is what that movie is referencing. They're trying to build the interstate highway from LA to San Francisco, and they need to tear down Toontown to do it because they can't put it anywhere else because that would disrupt non-ethnic neighborhoods. So they had to go through Toontown because they were making the Toons look bad to be able to tear down Toontown. So
Nope.
a car-centric movie.
Car centric, but the car is not the star. Jessica Rabbit's the star.
And I thought Roger was. I guess I got to rewatch the movie.
That's all I know about it. That's when you say Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's Jessica Rabbit, and that's all I think of. But we all know I have a thing for redheads. Give me another one.
What about Grease?
Grease popped up on one of the AI lists that I had generated, and I
had
think
it noted on my list.
Yeah, I just don't think so. The cars were part of it, and it kind of goes back to Jason mentioned American Graffiti. I think those movies are about the high school experience and the coming of age, and getting ready to go to college, etc. It's not. They're not centered around the cars. The cars don't make a difference. I mean, American Graffiti, yes, is remembered for the drag race or the yellow 32 Ford in it and something else, or white, and the Thunderbird.
The Ford, the Thunderbird, but also the 55 Chevy that was in that, which was Milner's nemesis, played by Harrison Ford. That 55 Chevy is the same 55 Chevy from Two Lane Blacktop. They use the same cars.
No, see, yes, cars are part of the movie, but I don't think, to me, they're as car centric as they needed to be.
Well, I mean, fine, be that way.
I mean, go back to, like I said, we'll go with the Wraith. Nobody would know what the hell that movie is without the car. The movie was kind of about the car, where there's so many other storylines in Grease and American Graffiti. And if you start doing that, you can start pulling in a lot of other, what am I thinking? Wayne's World. Oh, we all know the Pacer. We know the Pacer from it. We're not talking about movie cars. We're talking about movies where the cars were the star. We wouldn't care about the movie. No, I think you misheard me, Jason. We'll have to go back and listen to the tapes.
Jason threw an interesting one up. Any of the Batman movies, but if we're going off what John just said, those wouldn't count because the Batmobile was not the star of the movie.
No. I mean, the best Batmobile was in the Michael Keaton Batman movie, but the best Batman movie is because Michael Keaton was Batman. So,
exactly.
I mean,
so if we really whittle this down, then, John, there's probably not a lot of movies out there where the car is actually the star. Herbie, the Love Bug, which is actually about the car, is one of them. I would still argue Two Lane Blacktop to be one of them because it truly is about really the two cars, the 55 Chevy and the GTO Judge that is chasing them around the across the country. And Christine just joined in, my wonderful wife. And yes, one of the first things we discussed, and again, it would be truly one of those cars as the star, Christine. I would argue, I can agree that I think those three are definitely on the list for cars as the star of the movie.
No doubt about it. And Toby says it all comes back to Herbie. Herbie might have been the first one really where the car was the star. Because I mean, Like I say, we got
What
all
year
these
was
car
the wait,
movies.
what year was the first Herbie though? See, I'm
68.
not. Ooh, that is pretty early, isn't it?
Yeah, because Two Lane Blacktop, Vanishing Point, all those are early 70s.
Well, Bullet was 68.
I thought Bullet was 69.
Well, according to the list you put on Trello, it was 68, but we can double check that.
So,
And what year was, well, American Graffiti and Two Lane Blacktop were early 70s, so 71, Two Lane Blacktop, Vanishing Point 71, Duel was 71. 1971 was one heck of a year for movies with cars.
that was the year I was born.
Oh, and we forgot to mention Le Mans. Le Mans was in 1971.
Jason threw out Le Mans earlier. That was about the cars Jason. And the race. Yeah, we skipped over that. He also just threw out Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, truthfully, is about the car. I mean, the car, that's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Jason's the same vintage as me, he says. Do we remember Speed Racer from 2008?
I remember it coming out. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, we'll have to say the movie came out. It's known for the car, but I couldn't tell you a dang thing about the movie. I'll tell you a little bit about the cartoon.
Sorry, guys, I don't mean to be looking down, but I'm double checking some years here to see if we can figure out what year this truthfully would have been.
I could check the Google here really quick, but do we remember the movie Need for Speed?
Like the bus movie?
No, the Need for Speed. That was Speed. The Need for Speed.
Oh, sorry, Need for.
What was kind of video game? The car in it was a Shelby 1000. And a friend of mine owned a Shelby 1000, which is now at the Barber Museum. It was donated to the Barber Museum, and the car he bought was actually being built in the background of that movie because they only built like 14 Shelby 1000s. Let's see here. What year was Bullet? That says 1968. The American action thriller film was released in 1968. The movie stars Steve McQueen and is considered by many to be his defining role. Well, that just automatically throws out Bullet because they say it's Steve McQueen and it made his career.
Well, it's all about Steve McQueen. It's always about Steve McQueen.
Yeah. Add Steve McQueen to anything and it's worth something.
So Jason just said, after all of this conversation, his mind has changed as the greatest involved movie. Sorry, I thought he was saying the greatest cars. He's saying Back to the Future. I don't agree. I'm sorry, Jason. I mean, it was cool, but I just feel like there's so many better ones out there.
I'm not saying any of our listener suggestions are wrong, but we're really, a lot of these came up. Toby throws out Days of Thunder. That was about Tom Cruise being great at being a race car driver. Just like Cocktail was Tom Cruise being great about being a bartender, or Top Gun was Tom Cruise being great about being a pilot, or
Mission Impossible. The only movie about him being great about being a spy.
Yeah, about the only movie Tom Cruise was in that was not about him being great about something was Risky Business. And could we say the 928 in Risky Business might be us? See, that would be a car. It was a star, but the movie wasn't about that.
What about, I don't know, Aston Martins in James Bond?
Brandy threw those out, but they obviously are not the star. James Bond is the star.
Yeah, but involved, if we're on that involved topic. So, and truthfully, if we're on that involved topic, we all know I'm a little old man. Even though I'm younger than John, I'm the old guy here. I'm going to tell you guys, if you haven't seen the movie, one of the greatest car-involved movies of all time, in my opinion, is Cary Grant's Topper. If you haven't seen Topper, go out and watch it, because Number one, Cary Grant is a fantastic actor, probably one of my favorite of all time. But the car in the movie is beautiful. It's a highly modified coach built Buick, and it is phenomenal. The story's pretty funny. Cary Grant's a funny actor, and it's one of my favorite car involved movies of all time.
I have seen Topper. Can't remember a thing about it. I'm sorry.
Well, that's just you're boring, John.
Yes, sometimes I am a little bit boring, kind of like Eeyore.
Yeah. So then, are we really coming down to it being Herbie, 2-lane blacktop, and what was the third one I threw out? I've already forgotten.
Herbie, 2-lane blacktop. I think Herbie.
Oh, Christine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Herbie and Christine are probably the top two because they are literally about. I mean, the movie, the book is named on the actual car that is the star.
Well, then you go Herbie or Christine. Toby, I don't know about the 48 Packard convertible. That seems like a crappy car in that movie. Talking Back to the Future.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree, Toby. Toby said their names are in the title. Exactly. So, those would be, and I would argue the tight third to be 2-lane blacktop if you watch it, because it's truly the cars that are really what the movie is about. They're supposed to be the stars. I'm trying to think. I'm looking to see if there's anything we've missed that was a title of a movie or something that was the car, and I can't think of any others than Herbie and Christine.
Would the Wraith be that? Not that I'm stuck on that movie, but I can't remember what they referred to that car as. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to go that, while we think about that, let's pop into a couple of these little news items that I had.
Yeah.
Dana suggesting KITT from Knight Rider. Now there was Knight Rider 2000, the movie, so we could let her slide in on that one. We'll throw some Tesla news again in this mix. See that they are being brought up potentially on a federal investigation on what is it, the Magnuson something Act, because they don't allow anybody outside certified Tesla dealers to work on the cars, and they don't provide parts to anybody that is a non-Tesla dealer, and they won't release any dimensions or anything for people to make aftermarket parts. So they're not complying with that federal mandate. So we've got the windshield wipers. We got Tesla Cybertrucks running over Camrys. We've got Tesla getting sued for a monopoly. Tesla's they're really piling on Tesla here. Then on the flip side, VW comes out and gives $1 billion to Rivian and really accelerates the VW electric pickup, infuses a ton of cash that Rivian really needed. And VW said it's just part of a small investment where they expected to put another $4 to $5 billion into Rivian by the end of 2025. So a potentially $5 to $6 billion investment in Rivian by VW. And if we remember, one of the early money guys into Rivian was Ford. I wonder if they're thinking back on that one.
Yeah.
Toyota's coming out with a Miata competitor. You sent me one on 3-row pickups.
Yeah.
Jason, we keep everybody awake. You can't go to sleep during no driving gloves.
Exactly. So I know we're on
the press is seeing the new ZR1, and I think it debuts late June, or is it July?
July 25th, 2024.
Ooh, 5 shopping months till Christmas from then.
Mm-hmm.
Just in time to probably get one ordered and built.
Exactly. They know what they're doing over at Corvette. Come on.
If your name's on the list.
Yes. And for that one, you're going to have it's a long list to be on. So better get on it now so you can have one by the time the C9 comes out. So
there's not going to be a C9.
Oh, really?
And see, I thought I said, did I say Transformers? And now Toby's throwing fourth dimensionally the 84 Freightliner cab over Optimus Prime. I was thinking more Bumblebee, but it's car centric. When the cars become
that's
the people.
Actually very interesting because the aliens come to Earth and take the shape of cars. So technically the stars do become cars. Although they're not, well, they're kind of the stars.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they are. That's kind of the whole cast, except for Tobey Maguire or whoever.
Thought it was that Shia LaBeouf guy.
It could be. They're both the same person to me.
Yeah.
They just put both dated Megan Fox.
Yeah.
They both went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, it's, you've got Bumblebee, which is a Camaro. You've got Sideswipe, which was the Corvette prototype. You've got the Freightliner. You got a lot of great cars in there. So I will jump back because Jason and I think Toby have both brought up the movie The Car, which I will say I've never seen. I have heard about it. So I quickly looked it up while John was talking about news, and my phone just decided to time out. But
Bumblebee was a Camaro Bumblebee was a Camaro in the Transformer movies. No, you said it. Toby said it was a Beetle, and it was a Beetle in the original Transformers.
Yeah. So the IMDb, the actual description of the movie, probably not IMDb, but the actual description of the movie, The Car, is a small desert town is terrorized by a powerful, seemingly possessed car. So the car is the star of that movie, and it is literally called The Car. So I think that has to be another one.
Yeah, and saw that Jason popped that up. Yeah, and I Googled it and I moved it over to a list to watch. Wonder if it's on The Car movie streaming.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not, Jason. He said there's a sequel called The Truck. I got to know if that's serious or if you're just being sarcastic here, Jason.
I would bet that's not being sarcastic.
There is. Okay. Well, I got to add The Truck now.
It's on it. You got to pay for it on everything: Apple TV, YouTube, Prime, Google Play, Fandango. It's $4. Speaking of that, buy us a couple of coffees and we'll catch up and we'll watch The Car.
Yeah, $4. I mean, still that's cheaper than going to the movie theater. So, hey, works for me.
Yeah, Dana popped in that the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car was auctioned off for $805,000.
So Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came up earlier, and I would just like to point out for anyone that doesn't know the history of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, look into the actual history of the true Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and its story. The movie is quite dramatized and changed from what the true Chitty story is all about. It's actually the actual real life car is far more interesting, in my opinion, in the story behind it. I don't know how you feel about it, John.
I'm not that familiar with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang overall to um actually, I guess give an opinion on it. I can't even tell you what the car looked like.
Are you talking about the movie car or?
No, I'm talking about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I know nothing about to even to make an uninformed decision.
So and it wasn't Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Originally, the cars, the cars that were known were just Chitty Bang Bang, and there were actually a few of them built, and they ran at the Brooklands in like the 1920s and 30s. They were race cars, but they weren't from, like one manufacturer. Uh, it was a Count, as I recall, that built the cars, had the cars built, and raced them, and they got this nickname Chitty Bang Bang, and there was all this kind of lore and interesting stories behind them, and that's kind of what evolved into this fantasized Chitty Chitty Bang Bang movie. So
Tony threw out. I don't know the movie. Toby. I said Tony. I'm sorry, Toby. Melba Toast.
Melba Toast. Oh, geez, Toby is loaded with them tonight.
Well, he's probably cheating like Jason is with 123movies.com.
Actually, you want to cheat? And I've not pulled it up yet, but we could and really cheat. But if you don't know about it, the website, the Internet Movie Car Database, IMCDB, it pretty much has any car that's been in a movie. You can basically search and find. I mean, people literally, it's kind of like Wikipedia where people can add to it. But I mean, people sit and just watch movies, screen capture a car, put it on there, and then write what car it is. And yeah, I mean, you can go in. I was like, well, my dad and I own that 1929 Roosevelt that was built by Marmon. I'm like, I am sure Roosevelt's never been in a movie. Go on to Internet Movie Car Database, type in Roosevelt, and sure enough, there was a Roosevelt in the background of a movie, and somebody saw it, screen captured it, and put it on the Internet Movie Car Database. So you can find a lot of information there.
Okay. According to Toby and my Google search, it's a Chevelle from Dazed and Confused. So I can't say that it's known for the car.
Oh, that's right.
I'm guessing, Toby, you're more Derek's age than my age. Because Dazed and Confused was one of my brother's favorite movies years ago. I don't know anymore, but it wasn't that Ashton Kutcher and somebody else in that movie, or Matthew McConaughey. But I thought, for some reason, I thought Ashton Kutcher was it.
That Dazed and Confused is the movie that made Matthew McConaughey because of.
He says, but you gotta listen to Matthew.
I say that he has two famous lines out of that movie. Most people just remember him because that's the movie where he famously says,
"That's what I thought."
All right. But he also says, "I love these high school chicks. I keep getting older. They stay the same age." That is the movie and the lines that made Matthew McConaughey's career.
That one I might go back and watch. And Ford versus Ferrari, Jason, that's about Henry Ford II and Enzo Ferrari. So has nothing to do with the cars. And yeah, they throw some Carroll Shelby in for the fun of it. Because then we could throw in the 24-hour war and some things like that. But tell me what you... Let me tell you.
And I completely forgot. I've watched that movie a couple times. I completely forgot that Melba Toast is what they called the car. I should have recognized it, and I completely forgot.
I think that's one of those movies I only watched once. And I do see it quite often.
They called it Melba Toast is because they were dazed and confused.
Matthew McConaughey is David Wooderson. So I think we had a good, lively discussion tonight of some of these. Unless the chat gets a little bit, it's already been very lively. But unless the chat throws out a few here that we can. Derek, check your text.
Yeah, I know I am. She sent me probably some clip of the movie.
Dana, you're close. Yep. And that is a car-centric movie because nobody else... Actually, we wouldn't remember the movie if it wasn't for Star Wars. But you're thinking Corvette Summer.
I was going to say, yeah, Corvette Summer.
Yeah, she said, wasn't there a movie called Mercedes Summer? No, it's Corvette Summer. And do you know that was filmed prior to Star Wars, but released after Star Wars? Because it was so bad, they weren't going to release it until Mark Hamill did his thing with Princess Leia. Now we're talking about high school girls and incest. We really need to.
After about 9:45, it truly does turn into No Driving Gloves After Dark.
Yeah, I swear this is just Mountain Dew Zero. It's nothing else. But we do want to let everybody know we will not be live streaming next week. We will have a stream. We're going to replay. I haven't selected what episode, but we're going to play one of the older episodes. A lot of our fans are new right now, so you probably haven't went back and listened to our whole back catalog. But I'm probably going to pick something from around the COVID era, celebrity or a lost episode to release as the podcast because July 4th is next Thursday. And while we knew we could take on Biden and Trump and probably win, I think we probably have more people active in the chat room than are viewing that debate right now.
I can guarantee you we have a bigger live audience than they do.
Real-time audience.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't, I don't think we are any competition for beer and bombs. So we won't be here next week. We'll be here the following week, same time, same place. But I might, if I have time, I might attend the live stream. And if there's a chat, I might actually participate in the chat, but we won't. Toby's is at an Applebee's bar.
Ooh, nice. They are rebranded as your hometown bar or something like that. So, Toby, you're at your hometown bar.
Oh, we do thank everybody for joining us tonight. We've had a great, lively discussion. We'll have more like this. I've got a couple topics coming up. Derek and I are getting this thing in place. Finally, we're hitting on all cylinders. If you have topic suggestions, if you have questions, actually a topic that potentially could be the next live stream episode is a conversation I had in the cigar shop the other day that probably needs a whole episode devoted to it. We could do that, Jason. I don't have a problem with it, except unless you're talking next Thursday, because I'll be at the lake. But actually, I'd probably rather watch a movie than be on the lake at night. But what else we got? Or I'm gonna go. We need to probably go ahead and call it and go to bed before we I mean, I can go over all the stuff we shouldn't have said.
Yeah, we don't want to get into the movies we shouldn't talk about. So, with that, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. No Driving
We
Gloves.
could
Thanks for
we could have a good conversation on the Playboy Bunny Award winning cars.
Yeah,
Oh,
there-
Philip joins us now. Rising Sun, Vector W8. I don't know that movie.
All right. Well, welcome to the second hour of No Driving Gloves when Phil joins us. And just completely throws out everything we just talked about because he brings in movies that we don't know and probably just destroys every ounce of evidence we just talked about. You know, that might actually be interesting. I'm not trying to drag this episode out any longer, but we only were referencing American movies tonight. We didn't think about any foreign movies. There
I
may
don't watch
be
foreign movies.
German or French or British or Japanese or who knows what is out there that has a car as the star of a movie.
Wait, we talked about the Italian Job in Le Mans. I could have mentioned Rendezvous.
Pretty sure those were all American films, just taking place in a different country.
But they're foreign names.
Ooh, doesn't count. I'm actually going to do that research. I'm
Phil
gonna
said
see-
it's American. I'm going to have to look it up. Add another one to my list.
Yeah, kind of like the car. Hey, you know, maybe in France they just took the car and they just called it Le Car, like Renault did.
No, Rendezvous was a Mercedes, Jason. It never was a Ferrari.
No, I'm not going to bring it up. All right, let's wrap it up. So, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being part of the No Driving Gloves community. As always, if you guys like what you see, like what you hear, find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all those locations at No Driving Gloves or No Driving Gloves. You'll find our handle, I'm sure. And of course, if you want, buy us a coffee. That helps support what we're doing here at the show. Obviously, we don't have sponsors yet. We're working on it. But when we do, we're going to keep those short. Don't worry, you're not going to have to listen to a bunch of ads. And beyond that, the biggest way you guys can help us here at No Driving Gloves to grow bigger, grow the community bigger, help us grow, share the show. See you next time.
Just want to wish everybody a safe and happy 4th of July as we celebrate whatever birthday that is. I don't know. I can't blow out that many candles. But until then, get off your ass, burn some gas, because we are out.